Week 5, Reviewing the Related Literature. Make sure you find time to schedule and prioritize this week. If you're writing 15 minutes a day, continue doing so. But if you're not, don't feel guilty and instead start doing it now. Start with a positive attitude and write yourself a positive message about your writing. It's almost impossible to read everything there is about your subject, so don't feel guilty, but instead start making a plan for your reading. The more you read, the easier it gets. Skimming is also an art and something that can be used to help you choose which articles are worth the time to read. Belcher believes that all journals can fall into categories, and that knowing and understanding these categories can help you with your own research. One category is called original literature, and these texts are what Belcher calls primary sources. Another category is what Belcher calls derivative literature and are based on secondary sources. Another category is called contextual literature and consists of texts that have background information on your topic. Another one is methodological literature, and this consists of works that attack or defend your topic. Theoretical literature is yet another category and consists of what Belcher calls conceptual approaches to your topic. These include feminist theory, behavioral approaches, etc. The last category is called related literature, and this consists of all the prior research on your specific topic. Belcher also illustrates some strategies for getting reading done. In terms of reading theoretical literature, she insists on understanding what your theoretical approach is and illustrating it in your thesis. In order to bring your theoretical approach into your paper, Belcher believes that you should do the following: take theory courses, read with an expert, read book reviews, read biographies of theoreticians, etc. Another helpful hint is to subscribe to public intellectual newspapers, which are more fun than reading peer-reviewed journals, but also allow scholars to present their theories in shorter form. Belcher also illustrates some tips for reading related literature, and one is to set up your bibliographic software. She recommends using EndNote and winnow your reading list. This consists of reducing and eliminating your articles to only those necessary. She also promotes making reading social in a journal club, scheduling library reading, and prioritizing it. Belcher analyzes famous reading habits of successful scholars and illustrates their habits in the chapter. The first scholar is Henry Giroux, and what he does is mark off in the text the paragraphs with important ideas when reading. He writes it in his books and circles important paragraphs. He cuts and pastes the research and types out the source at the top of the paper with the ideas from the piece below it. She also analyzes Edward O. Wilson, and he subscribes to 60 journals and reads each journal and takes endnotes on it every morning. He then goes for lunch and spends 2 hours writing at the table and takes the afternoon off. The last scholar's habits that she illustrates are Claus Herding, and he reads 5 books every morning and reads at a pace of 45 minutes per book. Belcher illustrates the necessity of knowing your entry point, which is the way your argument's relationship to previous arguments flows. It's like in a conversation in which you should acknowledge the conversation but then make your point. Belcher lists 3 traditional positions for entry points regarding previous research: finding it inadequate or non-existent and filling the gap, finding it sound and extending it, or finding it unsound and correcting it.
While it is important to place your work in the context of previous research, what do you do if there's a lot of research on the topic or too little? Belcher suggests that you must then write a related literature review. Belcher describes this as an evaluation of existing scholarship on your topic or significance to your topic. Belcher suggests that you think about it and imagine that you're having a debate with a colleague about the topic, and you're trying to back up your opinion. In books, you can be very exhaustive with such a thing, but in articles like we're writing in this program, you have to be more efficient. Belcher suggests focusing on evaluating the existing literature with your argument firmly in mind. Many articles, Belcher says, require more than one related literature review, however, as there are efforts made to integrate information from various fields. Belcher continues to describe common mistakes that writers make when citing literature. She does this with a series of don'ts. Number 1, don't cite one source too much. Number 2, don't cite irrelevant literature. Number 3, don't overcite definitions. Number 4, don't misattribute. Number 5, don't cite the citation. Number 6, don't cite asides. Number 7, don't cite the derivative. Number 8, don't quote too much. And number 9, don't omit citations. Belcher continues to get into one of the most dangerous problems for writers, plagiarism. How to avoid plagiarism. Belcher begins discussing this topic by saying that advances in technology are going to make it very easy for people in the future to find and cross-reference writing material. So you can't really afford to take the chance. Most students, Belcher says, know the basic rules about plagiarism. Never take another's entire article. Never take an entire article and vary every fourth or fifth word. Never take an entire article and follow the structure and the argument. Never take an article, translate it into another language and claim it as your own. Never lift a page or section word for word. Never lift various paragraphs word for word. And never lift a paragraph or sentence word for word from another's piece and place it in your own, unless you put quote marks around it and add a citation to the original. Belcher then gives examples of original sentences that can be plagiarized, how they become borderline plagiarized, and how they can be correctly summarized. Borderline plagiarizing, if you're doing this repeatedly through your article, you have to stop and you have to revise. Some tips that Belcher suggests are taking notes from memory, taking notes in such a way that it's always clear what your comments are in the text, and to always, always, always revise. In summary, what your week should look like in week 5. Day 1, you should be reading the workbook. Day 2, evaluating your current citations. Day 3, identify and reading the related literature. Day 4, evaluating the related literature. And Day 5, writing or revising your related literature review.